Thankfully, I believe this afternoon between championship race for IndyCar series and the Cup series of Kansas made up for all of the egregious errors that I felt a lot of the series made. I'm not sure if you guys all got to see them all, but there's a lot of stupid from the weekend, at least in my eyes. I tell you exactly why. And if you're on the YouTube channel, yeah, all the shorts are up there, so find them. A lot of YouTube shorts after everything happened, but I will say that the races started at 3 p.m. Made up for it after a lot of bad stuff. And that includes F1. I thought they did something really ridiculous. But again, went over in a lot of the shorts. I'm going to go over it fully after we get through all of the racing like I normally do. So let's jump right into it with Moto America Superbikes, New Jersey. Good racing. Jacobson was on pole, red flag early as usual. I think it left him 17 laps. After the red flag was done, a longer track than we've seen a little bit. At least it just felt that way to me. But the top three of Gagne, Peterson, and Schultz were in a league of their own for the most part. Gagne did pull away, but those three were right on top of each other for a very long time, which made a really good race. You know, that's all you want to see is those guys all up there having contention. Sooner or later, they're going to pull away. It's just like most races in American flat track and a lot of stuff. But it's good to see them there. Gagne got another win. Peterson second, Schultz third, Petrucci fourth, and Jacobson rounded out the top five. Again, pretty good racing. They had some good stuff coming down to the end, but it is what it is. Gagne, congratulations. He's had a dominating year so far. Anyone that could try to deny that really just is a hater, just not paying attention. So, congratulations to him. F1 Italian GP in Monza, home of Ferrari with that yellow livery and race suits for their two guys for the 75-year anniversary of the making cars. But shout out to Nick DeVries, filling in for Alex Albon with apparent, with appendicitis, driving for Williams. And he put in a hell of a race. It was, even worse, it was in a Williams. So I'm sure no one actually, expected much out of it. But shout out to him. I'll tell you why by the end of me talking about this race, but that was a hell of a run for him. For how good he ran, pretty much, there wasn't like strategy coming out or anything. Like he was up there the whole time. So big shout out to Nick DeVries. Was happy to see it. But Leclerc was on pole. Good for Char. A lot of grid penalties. The whole list is somewhere here on my phone. Hopefully, I can find it. There was just so many. Here we go. Max Verstappen, 5 places. Esteban Ocon, 5 places. Sergio Perez, 10 places. Mick Schumacher, 15 places. Valtteri Bottas, 15 places. Kevin Magnussen, 15 places. And Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, and Yuki Tsunoda all had to go to the back of the grid, which jumbled up the field again for the beginning of a race. We've seen that a lot lately. Power unit issues. They move into the back because they have a brand new unit and everyone else is using the one that's been used. So fully understandable, but a lot of movement there. And shockingly enough, even with that, Max Verstappen was up to third by turn one, at the beginning of lap two. Who's surprised by that? It's like the Raiders finding a way to, blow it yesterday. Shocker. I didn't think they were going to win. I thought it was going to be, much worse, but that's football. That's another day. Sebastian Vettel, power issues out on lap 12. Max Verstappen got the leader in that safety car. And that was pretty much, just everyone just determining how many pit stops they were going to have to make, all of that. The usual Max was up there by a mile for a lot of it, just during the pit cycles, everything switched out. But Daniel Ricciardo and his McLaren power issues with 7 to go brought out a safety car that ended the race. Don't care what you feel. I'm going to say he wasn't in a good place. 7 laps. That is more than enough time to get a car off of that track. Way more than enough time. 7 laps. It's inexcusable. I already did a short, but when you're literally hearing the person leading the race that's about to win under a safety car saying the track's clear, why aren't we racing? That's a problem. But again, I'll get into that later. I just think that made them, drop down a level to like NASCAR level where, it's like, hey, well, someone spins out all on their own, 7 to go. Yeah, it's going to end under caution. Like that was garbage. Might only be a stage, not a race, but it's still garbage regardless of where it happens. And I like to call that out no matter where it is. But under that safety car, Max Verstappen got the win. He was going to win anyway. Again, told you. I'm going to keep picking until someone makes me do otherwise. Till someone racing gives me a damn good reason to prove that they could beat him. I'm picking him every week. Charles Leclerc was second for Ferrari, so good for that. George Russell third. Carlos Sainz with a hell of a run from how far back he was. Finished fourth. Same with Lewis Hamilton. Sergio Perez was sixth. Lando Norris got seventh. Pierre Gasly eighth. Nick DeVries ninth for Williams in his debut. And I don't care what you say. You've seen how the Williams run. That's a hell of a run. That's talent right there. He was up there the whole time. He didn't luck his way into it. So everyone give him credit on, find him on whatever social medias you can, comment on, tag him in it. Like that was one hell of a run. And if you try to say it wasn't, you're kind of just a dick. But good job on him. And then Joe Guanyu, sorry, rounded out the top 10. Again, it was good race. That just 7 laps. And it ended. And you heard people, like multiple people, not just Max, on the radio going, the track's clear. Why aren't we racing? When the guy in the lead saying it, though, he's about to win under a safety car, that's a problem. I know he's not going to want to win it that way, but still, when he's saying it in the lead, that's an issue. I'll get into it more later. Already did it on short, so I'm going to keep it brief. But gets us to the IndyCar championship race, Laguna Seca in Monterey. Will Power on pole with the rookie, Ilott second, and he ran a hell of a race until, his power unit gave out on him. Colton Herta and Joseph Newgarden in the way back there in the 20s to start the race. And again, Ilott was running great, so that did suck to see him go out there. Yeah, but that kid's got talent. Look at the runs he's had. He's going to be dangerous here in a few years once he gets more experience and stuff underneath him. Like he's figured it out here the last couple of weeks. So shout out to him. But Palou wins the race. Newgarden was second. Will Power third. Rosenquist fourth. Lundgaard fifth. McLaughlin sixth. Romain Grosjean seventh. Pato Award eighth. Marcus Ericsson ninth. Alexander Rossi 10th. Colton Herta got an 11th. Jimmy Johnson was 16th. And again, when you saw Colton run behind, like Scott Dixon, I believe it was running like a lane and a half up just because that's where the grip was. Because, this is why it's the last race before they repave Laguna Seca. It was just really weird to see them run out of the normal groove and making that much more time. But Will Power won second career championship, so congratulations to him. Team Penske, like they dominated all year, and everyone that ran the championship. Like that was a good race that came down to a good run that came to the last race. That's all you can ask for. That's not the kind of race you want for the championship where it comes down to that many guys having a chance in the last race. Why are you watching? I'm trying to be a dick when I say that. Like that's a real question. Why are you watching if you don't like that? That's the way all championships should be. Not with any playoffs to make everyone be right up there even. Like that was just everyone came down. And I'll get into it at the end. More of the stuff on that because there's a lot of circumstances, but such a good one. Truck Series Kansas race. John Hunter didn't check on pole. Carson Hocevar started 3 points out of the next round, and Eckes was down by 6 to start the race. John Hunter won stage 1 and 2, but stage 2 was under caution, and they drugged that one. Like that was a lot of laps under caution for someone spinning all by themselves, but it's what they do. John Hunter dominates, got the win. And shout out, no matter what Hocevar says, like for them to give him that strategy call, just run and run and run. And if the race had 2 less laps, he was going to win. And they told him on the radio, well, we should be good where we are with points regardless. So, trying to kill himself to keep John Hunter behind him wasn't even a thing. So for it to come down to that, it sucks, but as a hell of a strategy call, took a great set of cojones to do it. So congratulations to them regardless of how it worked out. But John Hunter got the win. Carson Hocevar second, Ryan Preece third, Zane Smith fourth, Grant Enfinger fifth, Chandler Smith sixth, Corey Heim seventh, Tom Majeski eighth, Colby Howard ninth, and Christian Eckes 10th. Matty D got a 12th. And again, sucks to see Hocevar eliminated. Kraft admitted that they sucked all year, and we were all surprised that he made it in the first place. So, there is that. It still sucks. Again, more to come at the end of the episode, trying to get through all these results before I start possibly ranting. But hey, you can't beat Matt Crafting. But we sucked all year. I mean, it was very inconsistent and a lot of bad luck, a lot of bad races. So at least he owns it. We'll see if comes back and how good they could do. But he was one of those who went, man, like he barely made it, and I called him not making it out of it because of inconsistencies and being off all year. So, it sucks for him, but it really sucks for Hocevar because I thought they put together a great plan. Xfinity Series. Brandon Jones was on pole. Ty Gibbs second. Ty dominated stage 1. Caution with 8 or so to go in stage 2, which gives Noah the win under caution. And then the race when they call it for rain. Again, I will get into it. But Noah was first, Justin Allgaier second, Ty Gibbs third. There's something to get in with those two, too. Brandon Jones fourth, Ross Chastain fifth, Adrian Allmendinger sixth, Josh Berry seventh, Sammy Smith eighth, Sam Mayer ninth, Brett Moffitt round out the top 10, so good for him. Sheldon Creed, another, that's still a good point day. If you notice, Ryan Seega isn't in front of him, so he did what he had to do, got more points, and it's going to come down to that last race. And I'm really looking forward to that one. But Brandon Brown was 17th in the O2, Jeremy Clements 21st. And a shout out to him because I don't know if you guys watched the race, but if you're just listening to the audio, find the video and get to here. We are at what 10 and a half right now, 10:35, whatever. Look at that car that they did for 9/11, commemoration. Like that was a beautiful car, red, white, and blue going on there. It's very patriotic for what it was, what time it is. So I really did appreciate seeing that. Just from my time in service and all the people I know that died since then for this war and all that. But I'll get into the whole. I'll get on to how they ended it after the Cup race, because the Cup race I actually thought was fairly good with Reddick on pole. Laguna was leading from the start, took over. Then that whole thing, Ross came up the track, which moved Bubba up, which got him into Kevin. And and even Walter's against me on this one, but Chastain came up, moved Bubba up the track. I mean, Kevin didn't lift. Him and Bubba were both out. Like no matter what, Kevin was done. Wrong place, wrong time. He's had a lot of that all year. You can comment on this and tell me how wrong I am right now. What the hell was going to happen there? Kevin was in the wrong place, the wrong time. Ross came up again. He's had a few of these moments, even with Kevin recently. Like he slid up, Bubba moved up because of that, and Kevin was there. And again, someone would lift. Like right now, if Kevin did that to somebody, the whole world's heads would be exploding. I'm just as pissed. Because I hate to see, come down to make it or break it at the end, but dude, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's had a lot of bad luck, just like all of Stewart-Haas, really, since the last 4 or 5 races of 2020, where he went from winning everything to just bad through last year, and they finally picked it up recently, but lots of bad luck. You can hate him all you want, but if he didn't lift, the difference would be Denny would have won. Otherwise, we'd have had 2 cars in the wreck. Literally the only difference in my eyes. Again, comment, tell me what you think, no matter where you're watching or listening to this. But, what do you want from me? We can have a good, healthy conversation about it. Doesn't mean I'll agree with you, doesn't mean you'll agree with me. But that was more bad luck, just wrong place, wrong time for him, in my eyes. Reddick lost another right rear, Nate a wall done for the day. And I will say, Ricky also, it looked like he just kind of got into the wall, but he had the tire issue before, and there's people blowing up saying that's all Goodyear's fault. Like, if you look back, beginning of the year, how many tire issues we have now compared to then, like they have reimagined everything they had to do the wheel, built it up more, but the drivers are still going well out of what Goodyear recommends for tire pressures, the lowest you can go, camber, all that stuff, which puts more strain on the tires, which is why they blow out faster. They can only build so good of a tire if no one's going to listen to where they should sit, where they say is the lowest air pressure you should run it on the most camber or anything. Like that's going to just put extra pressure in places it should not be. And that causes dumb things to happen. So can we stop picking on Goodyear? Me and Walter already talked about this weeks ago. Yes, the beginning of the year, they were doing themselves any favor, but I think it's gotten a lot better. And again, a lot of those problems were people just going under what they recommend for being the lowest pressure by a lot, and puts more pressure on the sidewall, more caster and camber, which gets tire tilting all the way down the straight, which puts more pressure there, and that causes dumb things, especially with these new, low ply tires and all. It's just, can it be better? Yes. Can the teams listen to the recommendations better? Oh, hell yes. It's one of those. But all in all, Bell won stage 1. The 7 got up into the 23, the 21, the 43 were also involved. It's more bad luck and then again, they were like 4 wide. I think Eric Jones got squeezed. Yeah, it's just one of those. People were going for something on a restart and dumb stuff happened. Alex Bowman won stage 2, and then Bubba won the race with his owner, Denny Hamlin, finished second, Bell third, Bowman fourth, Truex fifth, Byron sixth, Chastain seventh, Larson eighth, Blaney ninth, and Daniel Suarez running out the top 10. Now it gets me to the fun part of all of this. There's a lot of fun parts in this, but let all the hate, for Bubba winning it's going to come. And I'm still not happy with what he said because he did keep carrying it on after it was disproven and all that. But if you look back years ago when he was driving the Xfinity Series in the 6 car, like 6 races in, they had to fold, even though he's in the top 5 points because he couldn't get a sponsor. Like there was talent there, even driving for Roush, which no offense to them. Not like they were blowing people away really altogether then. And he got it. And I know that I saw people saying that Denny let him win this, that, and the other. Excuse me. I'm like, just shut up. Let's just move on. I do wish he would cry more like he was after the race for winning instead of crying because he finished second to Harvick at Michigan. Like, you know how many times he's won there recently? Like, you got a second for how bad a lot of the year went. Like, that's not, he says he's going to dwell on. Don't dwell on that shit. What? Take it as a good thing because he got a second and move on. Because then he had really bad races after saying he was going to think about that one for a while. Just, take that for as good as it is and move on and be happy. But all the hate to include from Walter, like, he's yelling at me. Like, what the hell? Chastain moved up. That made him move up. And Kevin just happened to be there. If Kevin didn't let off, try to stop from happening, him and Bubba would have been wrecked. And the only difference is Denny would be in victory lane. That would be the only difference. Because Bubba would have ate a wall too. Like I said, that's the way I saw it again. Comment, tell me what you think. But what else could it have been? Xfinity Series. Again, I did the short on YouTube, so I'm trying to keep it short here, but they saw the radar all morning. Obviously, there's a giant green blob coming at them. And if I can look at that 6-7 hours out, they can too with better equipment than I have to see what's going to be there. And they moved up, 18 minutes? Conveniently, just long enough through cautions on lap time to get it done by the time the rain that got there. What do you know? However many laps it was, they ran a bunch under caution with the rain, waited till the end of the stage, pulled him down. It was done. That's why he got out of his car and everyone was congratulating him immediately. He being Noah. Nothing against Noah. Well, hey, it's coming. Get out there. Go. He did his job. But if the fans and the actual racing product and the sponsors and the playoffs mattered, they'd actually do better. Like throw it on Peacock. Who cares? Just get it on there. Move it up so you get the whole race. And if any of it mattered, we wouldn't be having this conversation repeatedly about rain and all of that. Like if you got to move it up 18 minutes, that literally was long enough to get you in stage show. I'm pretty sure Junior even said so when they came on air. Well, they only get that right as the rain gets here. When it came to stage 2. It wasn't even half. Like 94 of 200, I think, were finished. Like they literally made sure that they could get it in. And they need to do better for the fans, the sponsors, the teams, and to prove that the playoffs and everything that matters, like that they say matters, actually matters. Because that was garbage. The F1 race in Monza, 7 to go, and they couldn't get his car off to get it started, even though you heard drivers, to include the guy leading who was about to win under a safety car, complaining that the track was clear. Why aren't we racing? I have a problem with that. If you think I'm crazy, comment. I beg you. I'd like to actually have a conversation with you about that. But next week, it should be good. Elimination race for the Cup. Last race before the playoffs in the Xfinity Series means all kinds of stupid stuff could happen. So that should be very exciting, especially the being there Bristol. But that's going to be good, especially with all the bad luck that the Chase Elliott's in the world have had. Like this could be a really good race. And also, those guys right there, if you're watching this, the NTT IndyCar series, I want to say congratulations and thank you to Scott McLaughlin, Justin Newgarden, Will Power, Scott Dixon, Marcus Ericsson, Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi, the many other people that made such a great season. And if you look back, like I said, I go over it. If Newgarden didn't have the issue in Iowa in that second race, he would have been champion. If Dixon at the Indy 500, with how everything worked out there at the end when he dominated, like if he ended up winning, got double points, he would be champion regardless. Like each had a race here and there where something dumb happened, which cost them a lot, which could have completely changed it. And it came down to the last race. That's what we should want. Remind the playoffs where it comes down to the last race because everyone's even. Like these were people coming in with points differentials, and it all came down to nothing more than that difference and what you could do on the track. And that right there is what you should want as racing fans. Don't want to see people get blown out. You should want to see people get blown out and murdered. Like that right there, coming down to the last race is exactly what we want. Is everyone, no matter what, no one's going to be happy with like NASCAR in the playoffs and all X people get eliminated. That shouldn't be. If you go by the old point system, look where everyone would be. Like there's always going to be people doing that. F1 right now. I mean, look how many years Lewis ran away with it. Now look at the way that ended last year anyway. That's another long story, but look at Max is running away with it now. Like to see a series actually come down to it being on the track. Everyone had their bad luck here and there. And it all came down to that was a very nice change of pace and very nice to see, in my opinion. I think all of us, regardless of who you root for, should be able to agree that that's what we want. Good racing on the track and it coming down to that and figure out who can get the most points throughout the whole thing. No playoff thing, no one just dominating, making it boring. Like that was good. That's exactly what I want. So congratulations and thanks to everyone there. We will see you next year. And again, Nick DeVries, first run, very little notice. Congratulations on getting points for Williams in your debut. That's pretty cool, but that's where I'm going to leave it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, YouTube, Rumble, Cloud Hub, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Amazon Music. It's everywhere. So follow along, share it out, comment, and let me know what you think. That's more important. Subscribe. And until next time, my friends, peace.